Hi, this is JC with Route4Me. Who do we have in the call?
Hi, JC. My name is Steven.
Hi, Steven. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. Steven, I understand your trial is over and you have some questions before moving forward.
Yeah, I'm really unsure if I need route optimization software. I have only three drivers. Sometimes I have a fourth,
Okay.
depending. And maybe I just didn't go through the software all the way. I'm not really super tech savvy, but I would
Okay.
like to see if you can help me out and if this is something that would be good for my business. But right now, I just don't think I need it.
Okay. Well, just to before we get started, let me just tell you that route optimization has great benefit not only for a big size business but also for a small business because it will help you grow your business with a lot of information that will help you make those decisions that will push your business forward. So let me show you what exactly you can do with Route4Me. Right now I'm sharing my screen and you should be able to see me going to my account. The first thing you will notice is your list of previously planned routes. So every time you plan a route or you optimize a route, it's saved directly into your routes list. Okay? So there are multiple ways in which you can do this. It would all depend on whether you're doing one-time visits or your visits vary every day, or if you have a recurring visit. If you're constantly visiting the same customers, you can use one of the functionalities called the address book map. I'm sure you've seen it in your trial. And if you have your routes vary all the time, you can simply upload a file and plan a route for your one driver or for all of your drivers at the same time. Um, First thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the route section on the left hand side of your screen. Click on that and we're going to plan a route. So why don't we plan a route first and then you let me know if you have any questions, okay?
Yep.
Alrighty. So once I'm in here, I'm going to determine whether do I want to type in the addresses, do I want to copy and paste, do I have a file that I can upload. Maybe, I don't know if you use uh, um, cloud-based spreadsheets, but if you do, you can use the import data, and you can even send us a scanned copy of your addresses if you don't have anything on digital. You can scan it, upload it, and then within 24 hours we'll return an Excel file so that you can plan your routes afterwards. Okay. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to upload a file. So my file looks like this. It's a normal Excel spreadsheet with an alias, address, city, state, and zip. All of it in there. Just make sure the first address on your list is your departure point. And here we go. Like this. All right. So we're going to upload a file. Then we simply name the route. You can see the steps right here on the left. Then we schedule the route. Let's imagine we're doing this tomorrow. And you usually start at what, 8 a.m. normally?
Yep.
Excellent. So how long does the stop take?
About
What would
15
you say
minutes.
is about 15 minutes? Okay. So that's all you have to do. Then you go into the optimization, and what we're going to do is we're going to plan a single driver route. You can choose to have a route to end at any address, which means the system will determine which address is the best one to finish with. You can plan a round trip and have the system guide the drivers back into the departure point, or you can end at last address, which means that you determine the departure and the destination, and the system will route and optimize everything in between. Make sense?
Yep.
Excellent. So we're going to do end route at any address. Create route. We simply browse for our file. There it is. upload it, and there you have it. See how the first address is highlighted? That's because it's going to be used as the departure point. Continue to review.
Okay.
Now, here is where Route4Me, basically takes care of the heavy lifting. Instead of you grabbing a list of addresses, however small, however known is the area, it will take you more than 45 minutes to actually determine, go to point A to point B, C, D, and so on. So the system makes it all very easy. We'll plot all of the addresses in the file on the map for you to see them all. Then it will make sure that you have the correct addresses. If we had any address that was incorrect for some reason, or the system didn't match it to the actual address, we will have a review tab in here that will say, go ahead and double check on this address because we're not 100% sure is the correct one. So at that point, you're filtering all the addresses and making sure that you're only reviewing the ones that you need to review, the ones that are not 100% geocoded. Make sense?
Yep, makes sense.
Okay. So now we're making the process very easy as opposed to, spending hours trying to figure it out if we're going to the right place. Then we're going to plan that route or finish the import. And there we go. Now we have a nice optimized sequence to visit all of our stops. See that?
Yep.
Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay. So even though I'm explaining the step by step, it only took me, just over a minute to plan this one route. It's the same process to plan 1 or 4 routes at the same time. Okay? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, so this definitely looks great. Now, how do you anticipate this would help save me some time? It looks like it, if I was doing it manually, it would definitely take a lot more time. Is there any other suggestions you have of why this would save me time?
Well, it will save you time, not only from the office perspective or from your perspective when you're planning your routes, but it will also save your driver's time, which will make, in turn, your company more efficient. So instead of the driver going up and down or across the streets trying to figure it out how to go about the stops and let him decide what's the best way to complete the route, you create an optimized sequence based on proximities, driving times, and duration of the stops. So the system will go and calculate all that, and it will create that nice little sequence for your driver to be efficient all throughout the day. Okay, so not only will make you more efficient, it would also help you bring in more business. Why? Because once you optimize your routes and determine, what, all of these stops that I do on Mondays or Tuesdays, or my average number of stops, turns out I can do it with 2 drivers. After optimizing, you can actually analyze and say, oh, it looks like I can do this with 2 drivers. What about my other 2 drivers? Well, you can choose to save the money on the payroll and save the money on the vehicle depreciation and gas. Or you can say, okay, let me bring in more business and give my other 2 drivers more work. And at that point, you're growing, you're, covering more areas, and ultimately making more money, which is why you're in business, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I have that 4th driver that doesn't work full time, and I'd love to be able to get him full time.
Yeah, absolutely. You can, like I said, Route4Me will help you bring in more business, become more efficient, save money, and not only that, it will help you increase your customer satisfaction. Because now you can actually, when you use Route4Me, you can do tracking. You can activate the mobile application on their phones or tablets, and you can actually tell where the driver is live. And when somebody calls in asking where your driver is, you can simply look up in Route4Me and tell your customer, Mr. Customer, looks like you're 2 blocks away from the driver. He'll be there in a minute. How happy will your customers be at that point, right?
Yep, quite happy.
Now, excellent. There's another way. Like I said, depends on how you visit your customers. If they're one time or they're a recurrent visit, you can simply grab that same file, go and upload addresses. We're gonna go through that real quick. Gonna upload those addresses. You can see how the system will geocode them again. Now, address book and the uh, address book and the upload a file portion of it are two separate things. So we're going to just delete that empty line, valid, continue. And so when you save addresses in your address book, they're separated from your routes. Okay, so they're two separate things. So if you change something on your route, it doesn't affect your list of addresses. Okay. Now from here you can do multiple things. You can actually go and create a schedule based on how often you want to visit this customer. You can do it once a day, or I'm sorry, every day, or you can go and visit every 2 days, every 3 days, or once a week on Tuesdays and Fridays, perhaps. Monthly, you can specifically say which date or what day of the month, you know. So things like that you can create on the system on Route4Me. You can add custom data, you can add notes, and kind of follow up with that customer and try to figure it out. What is it that you're doing? What's been happening with that customer throughout the days or throughout time. You can also plan a route. Let's grab this list of addresses right here, and I'm going to go and plan route selected. Set up a departure point. Like this. See, you can set up whichever departure point you would like, or you can type in a whole new one. It's up to you. This time what we're going to do is we're going to use the multiple driver section, and we're going to determine whether we need 4 drivers or more drivers. Okay, so to your scenario, if we have 4 drivers available and you want them to work 8 hours, that's all you have to do. We'll create a round trip this time, and then we're going to say create route. You see how much easier that was?
Yep.
There we go. Even though I use a multiple driver functionality, based on my duration of the round, the system calculated and said, you know what, you can do this with 1 driver, and here's the sequence. This time I plan a round trip, that's why it looks a little bit different from the previous one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it looks great. My only other question is mainly for you or for what other people use is what's better to use, the excuse me, the route optimization or the address book if I'm trying to create routes.
Like I said, it's really up to you. It will depend on how often you visit the customers. If you get a different list of orders or visits every day, then it's better to simply upload a file. But if you have to look at your customers and create territories or create frequencies, like I said, you need to visit them every 2 weeks or once a week or whatnot, then you definitely need to use the address book.
Great. Yeah, I think this is going to be really excellent for our company to help us expand. I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Excellent, Steven. So let's go ahead and get you activated, and we'll put you through our onboarding process because obviously I'm just trying to explain how this functionality can help your business move forward. But it's, like anything, it takes a little bit of a learning curve. So we're going to put you through our onboarding process, which are training sessions, and now you can learn to use all the functionalities. It'll make the process a lot easier for you to implement. Okay?
Yep, sounds great, JC.
Alrighty. I'll talk to you in a few then. Bye-bye, Steve.